I did do one for my office as well, but I have a little bit of time here before a lunch meeting. So I figured I'd come on and talk about how you could be a full-time YouTuber. Anyone could, really. All it really takes is a good understanding of what you want to accomplish on the platform, and then a little bit of research to see if there is an actual audience for what you want to contribute. You don't want to fixate too much on your research portion because it'll be a constant refinement anyway. And too much research means you're not going to be executing right away. It's going to hold you back a little bit from actually taking action and starting your YouTube channel. There's countless people in the world that would like to start YouTube channels that haven't, because they're either stuck in that process where they're researching, or they don't have the time. They think they don't have the time, but there's certain things that you can cut out of your life, and they're not things that really contribute anything either. You could cut your phone time down and you'll have time to create content. You could cut down the amount of time you watch streaming or sports or play video games if you really want to commit yourself to going full-time on YouTube. It is a commitment, and it is a constant refinement process. But as we get people in here watching, I wonder if you guys actually want to go full-time on YouTube. Let me know in chat if it's your ambition to be a full-time YouTuber. I've been doing full-time YouTube for about 8 years now, and it wasn't an overnight thing. But I will say this, I didn't fixate on planning too much. One day an employer of mine asked if I knew how to do video. I didn't know too much, but I took action, and that's what you need to do if you want to be a full-time YouTuber. You need to take action, and that could mean just experimenting with live, experimenting with shorts. There's a little bit of research that needs to go into it, where you have to actually deduce whether or not people are interested in what you're talking about. On my channel, I talk about video SEO and making it on YouTube, and clearly there's a large contingency of people that are interested in being successful on YouTube. And I'm here for it, you know, it's something that I'm also passionate about. I recently just hit 1 million subscribers on one of my clients' channels. That happened last week, maybe around this time last week actually. We hit 1 million. It's a huge milestone, but anyone can do it if you dedicate yourself to constant refinement on the platform. You put your video up, even if you don't have high production value, you don't have a great video camera. I mean, I'm doing this on a S20 or whatever it is, a phone, right? Your phone is a TV studio in the sense that you could create content with it, and if the content's good, people will come to it. But that's kind of that refinement process. What does good content mean? You'll hear a lot of people say that the attention spans of humans is drastically going down. I don't think that's true. I just think that there's more options. So people are more guarded with their attention. They're not going to just give attention to anything. And that's kind of where you get into the situation where you could either go viral on YouTube or you can create a community. It's much better to create a community, even if it's a slower go. Everyone remembers all the first viral videos that went viral on YouTube, and the problem with that is that there's no designated infrastructure on the back end to actually monetize that virality of those videos. So imagine you start a YouTube channel tomorrow, you maybe upload 4 assets, 4 videos, and you go viral immediately. You get 1 million views or something. What would viral be now? Maybe 50 million views on a video overnight. What would you do? How would you be able to handle the influx of attention? Do you have something to leverage that? So that's why you kind of want to have some sort of business model in the back of your mind when you start to produce content. But even if you look at some of the most successful content creators on YouTube, like a Mr. Beast, how did he start? He was playing video games. He wasn't out there doing these crazy challenges or these game show style videos that he's known for now. He started with what he was passionate about, what he knew, and something that he was able to leverage a large amount of eyes on YouTube with, because people were interested in the games he was playing. So that's something that you could do too if you want to go full-time on YouTube. Let's say you want to do a sports channel. Well, you constantly refine. There's 1 million sports channels, right? What could you add to the conversation that other people can't? What would be your unique perspective that people would engage with? And that comes to another thing. When you're on YouTube, you want to be authentic, very authentic. Present your true self. You don't have to worry about jumping on, saying, oh, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Never do that. If you're going to do it, save it for the back end. But if you check out any of these channels like vidIQ, there's a new way to do the end screens where you're kind of segueing into another video. It will cause there to be less of a drop off on the back end of your video, and also it'll help people engage your other videos. You have to be extremely deliberate when you're creating content. It has to be engaging, and you have to remember this. On YouTube, you have one of the most selfish audiences in the world. And I don't say that in a negative connotation, but it's kind of the nature of YouTube versus an Instagram or a Facebook or a TikTok, which are feed-based platforms, whereas YouTube has always been a search engine-based platform. So people are going there for a designated intention, which means they're searching things. They want answers, even if they want to be entertained. They're going to search something to be entertained. And that's where you get into the point where people there's less of an attention span in the modern human. It's not that, it's just there's more options. And YouTube is inundated with options. You'll be watching a video and you got suggested videos on the bottom. And not to mention the subconscious thought in the back of your mind that if you're bored with this video, you could easily click off. I see people doing it on this live right now. I've had 4 people watching, now I have 2. It's because clearly I'm boring somebody, and that's fine. It's not for everyone. This is kind of my more dialed in, direct content, which I put out there for people that actually want to be full-time YouTubers. What's up, Sludge? I see that. How's your channel doing, man? It looks like you got a channel going there, at least from the looks of your avatar. How have you been doing this week on YouTube? You winning out there? You losing? Are you producing? There is no losing if you're producing content, because even if that content doesn't deliver the views you want, what it does is it gives you some data to go off of when you make your next video. So never consider a video a loss if you don't get the views you want, if you don't want the retention rate, if you don't have the average retention rate that you want. It's never a loss. It's always an opportunity to get better, just like anything in life. But that's why you need to produce. You can't constantly be in this loop where you're planning your channel. Oh, once I get a good camera, I'll go and start making content. You do want a decent microphone, but you can get a Yeti, you can get a Rode mic. Those will run you about $100. It's worth the investment. Right now I'm going off of my phone audio, and I've never done this before, so I'm not even sure how I sound right now. But you know, it is what it is. So there are certain little investments you want to make, but I would say first start making content with your phone. But you have to remember this too. When you are editing your video, even if you're doing it on CapCut or something on your phone, sit with it. Think about when you're getting bored. If you have a significant other, a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, a roommate, show them the video and focus on their eyes while they're watching your video. When you see them start to look elsewhere, that's when you know your video needs to be cut. I did a video last week. It was on one of client's channel. It was a redo of a video that I'd previously made. The original video was 23 minutes. Now I made that video in 2018 and I wanted to revisit it because it didn't get the results I wanted. And I later realized, you know, as the years have gone by, that it's because it wasn't engaging enough. So I took the 23-minute video and I cut it down to 11 minutes. I think we got 5,000 or 6,000 views in the first day. And they're very engaged views. I think the average retention rate was 40%. And it's to sell something, you know, so you do want that average retention rate to be high, so it's actually working for us. I think the click-through rate on the thumbnail was 13%, but I changed a lot of things on it, whereas the previous incarnation of that video was very long and drawn out. I could see people losing their interest in it. You have people on there telling their life story and all that, and people tune out on that. I'm sure I got some people watching right now that have done car repairs. Oh, what's up? 049, that's my nephew. He's out there, and yeah. What's up, man? How's your channel doing? That's perfect, man. I love that. But back to my point is, if you've ever tried to fix something in your household or maybe fix something on your car, you look at these tutorial videos. A lot of these creators that make the tutorial videos are guilty of going through their whole life story at the beginning. And it's just, nobody wants that. They want the information. So if you're doing entertainment videos, get right to the entertaining parts. Cut all the fluff out. It's when I would write papers in school, I remember we would get F's if we had these figures of speeches that were meant to just fluff the paper out so we could hit 5 pages, 4 pages, whatever it was. So think of your content like that. If people really do have shortened attention spans, you got to have your content be snappy, you know? If you really want some clarity on how that content should look, go look at some of the MTV shows from the 90s. Well, I shouldn't say 90s, actually the 2000s. The 2000 to 2010, Things like Viva La Bam. I know my nephew always hears me talk about Bam. Look at how Viva La Bam was cut. One time I downloaded an episode of Viva La Bam and I put that into a Premiere, a timeline in Adobe Premiere. And there's this thing in Premiere, there's a feature where you can look at every cut that's made in the video. And you should have seen how many cuts were at the beginning of a Viva La Bam episode. Now, I'm not saying that you need to do all these crazy cuts on your video, but it shows you have to exercise the eye. Like what I'm doing right here, the only reason anyone would watch this is because it's a live stream. You can ask me questions in here, you can jump in the chat, so it doesn't have to be crazy produced. It's a live stream. But if you're going to put an actual long form video out there, you're going to want some production on it. Obviously, that's going to come with time and refinement, but you have to be mindful of that. You want to have some B-roll. You want to have some graphics come up just to exercise the eye, because otherwise people are going to divest their attention and move on to the next thing. Oh, I look like a third grade teacher? Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't mind being a teacher. I'm trying to teach video SEO, sludge. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I look like a third grade teacher. I wish my third grade teacher had these cool sunglasses when I was in school, but I believe my third grade teacher was a woman, and I didn't pay much attention in school, you know. I didn't do too well. It's probably starting as far back as third grade, but I appreciate the compliment. You like the shirt. Perfect. And that's another thing. You have to be able to take any comment as an opportunity to broaden your conversation. You should see some of the comments I get on my more successful videos. They're like 40,000 viewers on it, 40,000 views, 50,000 views. Get all kinds of crazy comments, and yeah, you know, don't take it as an insult. People are there, they want to voice their opinion, and always remember that criticism is like the lowest form of creativity. I look like I wish I was a third grade teacher. Well, I'm not sure, man. Third grade teachers, they have a really low salary. That would be a tough life to be a third grade teacher, especially starting out as a third grade teacher. You're talking like 20 grand a month, or I'm sorry, 20 grand a year. Yeah, no way it's 20 grand a month, especially if you're going into the public school system. You're not gonna make a lot of money as a teacher. So with that, making below 30 grand a year, you're gonna have to make some personal concessions in the way you live, which is why a lot of people do want to become full-time YouTubers, because you can make a lot of money on YouTube. Especially you start amassing clients, you start producing for other people, and you can show results. Yeah, it doesn't take a third grade teacher to understand that you'll be making a lot of money and catching a lot of clients if you can show results and be successful. Because the problem is, in this space of YouTube advice and all that, a lot of people can't show results. And even on my own channel, you know, we're at like 1,400 right now. I've only been serious about this channel since September 2023. I mean, I had people commenting, oh, you're only at 500 subscribers. What do you know? Hey, I understand the criticism. I get it. I understand the criticism. And so if you actually ever do go out there and work with a YouTube coach, go check out their personal channel. I seen one recently, a person that was selling YouTube products like this. I think they had 215 videos, right? And they had something like 300 subscribers. If your video count is almost touching your subscriber count, you might want to think about refining your process. That's just my personal opinion, because you don't want to send your clients to your personal YouTube channel and have less than 1,000 subscribers. It's crazy. Oh man, appreciate that, Gabriel, but I'm definitely not a young man anymore. I once was, but I'm 37 now, so I'm in my twilight years, right? I guess. But I appreciate the compliment there. Yeah, the future's so bright, I gotta wear shades. You have 70 subscribers and don't know what to post on my channel. There's nothing to talk about in the sports world. Well, you know, that's where you want to start and kind of look and see what other people are engaging with, Sludge. That will give you a little bit of insight. So you can do that with an incognito browser. You go into YouTube search and you just search some keywords that you want to make content about. With Sludge Sports, I mean, it's kind of a broad topic. You're going to stop making videos. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on what your goals are, you know. Video SEO Club, we weren't popping off hard when I first started making videos on this channel, but I kind of devised a strategy that has been working for the channel. We're going to be doing a review of The Undertaker's podcast, and that's an interesting subject to get into. I'll touch a little bit on that. You know, The Undertaker, if you like wrestling or even if you're aware of wrestling, you know who The Undertaker is. So he launched a podcast about 3 or 4 months ago. And the first video literally put 545,000 views on his channel. But then the next video only had 100,000 views. And why was that? I'm going to get into that actually in that video because his numbers are trending downward. I don't watch WWE, but I'm interested in the wrestling niche on YouTube. I feel like it's an underserved niche and an undervalued niche. If you look at some of the videos on my channel, I have some reviews of Ohio Valley Wrestling, which was featured in the Wrestlers documentary, a review of Billy Corgan's NWA Wrestling. And recently I just did one on Jim Cornette that has about 45,000 views on it right now. So I was a fan of wrestling when I was a kid, you know, before I was in my teens, really. I mean, I think I tapped out on wrestling by the time I was 12 or 13. But I'm very interested in the business aspect of it because if you look at WWE, they're uber successful on YouTube. A lot of that has to do with the contingency of Indian viewers online because there's tons of fans of WWE in India because they've been on the TV in India forever. So now that's translated to YouTube. But yeah, I like talking about wrestling. I review wrestling channels, so I will be reviewing The Undertaker's YouTube channel, which I said is trending downward. But if you guys have any questions about YouTube whatsoever, go ahead and drop them in the chat. You know, I got Sludge here. I got Gabriel here. My nephew dropped in, but he's probably doing something else now. Let me see what time it is. I got a little bit of time left. But, so Sludge, you say you want to stop making content because you don't know what to make. Maybe you need to make a new channel. If you can't think of anything to make on sports, maybe you need to make something around a different topic. You know, don't make content just for the sake of making content because that goes back into authenticity. If you're authentic and you represent yourself authentically on YouTube, you're always going to win. It's always going to be a big win for you. So, and you could turn that into a full-time business. And maybe you don't make content for yourself. Maybe you find a few people that want to make content, are actively making content, and you can help run their channel. And, you know, 70 subscribers, most people don't get any subscribers, to be honest with you. Most people quit before they ever get any subscribers on YouTube. Oh, you're still here. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Hope you're getting something out of this then. But, yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole ton left to say. I have a meeting here in about 10 minutes, so I appreciate everybody watching. Here we go. You have one on WWE and one on the show Survivor, but no subs on both of them. Well, you need to go in there and take a look at maybe why you don't have any subs. What can you do differently that other creators aren't doing for Survivor or WWE? Look and see what some of the top creators are doing in those niches and think about how you can do it better, or maybe you could do it more expedient. Think about the variety of content that you're putting out there, whether it be shorts, whether it be live streams like what I'm doing right now. I'm just doing this because I had free time. I got here too early to my meeting. So rather than sit in here and doom scroll or play a game, I decided to go out here and answer questions, which is something I love to do. And it keeps me in practice creating content because this is live, man. You screw up on live, can't change that later unless you take your video down, I guess. But it gets you more versed in creating content. My biggest thing that I try to do is not say, People kind of tune out when they hear, You just don't sound like you know what you're talking about. So that's something I've worked on. So it's a linguistic practice that I do when I'm doing these live streams, because if I'm doing a long form, I could just cut all the uhs and ums out, which is something I suggest you do with your content. How do you start a live? You do it in the mobile YouTube app. Go into the mobile YouTube app, you hit the little plus button. You can look up a full tutorial on that on Google. But yeah, you just start a live stream in your mobile app. And when you're below 1,000 subscribers, they won't serve you to more than 25 people at a time. But it still gets you started, you know. You still get a little bit of practice. So I would suggest it. Yeah, go live. I like to go live because I like to interact with people like yourself, Sludge and Gabriel, my nephew. I like anyone who comes in here to interact. Even the trolls, man. I don't care about getting trolled. You can say anything about me. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I'm pretty confident in what I do. But, you know, I understand. People like to come in and maybe try to get a rise out of the host, try to trigger the host. I understand. It's something to do. It's something that's quite common on social media. So I can't say that... what does that say there? Oh, see, I said, no. It says I can't because of copyright issues. So you have to look and see what you're doing in your videos that are causing those copyright issues. I'm thinking about doing a video that's all about YouTube guidelines, because I've had some channels when I first started on YouTube get taken away because of spam. So what is spam? It's when you're overly selling something in your video. So there was certain times when I would promote a website and I'm showing pictures of the website. Oh, you can learn more at the website. See, that conflicts with the YouTube guidelines. You don't want to try to drive traffic too overtly off of the platform. YouTube doesn't like that. Basically, it's like this. You want to be successful on YouTube. If you can keep people on YouTube, you're going to be successful. If you can maintain people's attention to make them spend longer times on your videos, YouTube loves that because they can show more ads to them. And also, if they could show that they have longer durations of people being on their platform, they can sell those ads at a higher fee to all the people that want to advertise on AdWords. So that's really what it is in a nutshell. To be successful on YouTube, you have to be able to get people's attention for long periods of time. But as far as your copyright problem goes, you need to look at it and see what are you doing. Are you just putting raw footage from the sports games or sports television and not adding anything to it? If you look at some of my videos, you'll see I talk about Jim Cornette, I talk about all these different creators. You'll see on there that I'm adding my own dialogue, and my use of their B-roll is very minimal. I'm usually doing my voice over it. So now it's kind of a review/reaction video, so you don't have to worry as much about copyright. Can you maybe still face a copyright claim? Maybe, but when you're actually just taking long pieces of content. All right. Peace, gotta go. Thanks for all the help. Just subscribed. Really appreciate you for, hey, you know what? I appreciate you watching, Sludge. I appreciate everyone else who watched. I also have to go get prepared for my meeting here. It's in about 15 minutes, so thanks for watching. If you're interested in becoming a full-time YouTuber, I suggest you check out my channel. There's just a lot of content there where I talk about things like this, and also I do reviews of other YouTube channels. You might find that valuable because as I break down those other popular channels, you might have something that sparks your own imagination, and it might be something that you can apply to your YouTube efforts. So I appreciate everybody watching. Have a good rest of your Thursday.